Hey guys, Tomboy61, and today we're taking a look at the Grasse, whatever you want to call it. This ship found its way into my port thanks to those wonderful Secret Santa containers. And well, I'll be honest, it's been one ship that I've been wanting a really long time, but I consider it part of kind of the holy grail of non-discountable ships because, well, if you go into the menus and you go over to the ships tab, you can see it there, and because it's in this like sub menu, it's really hard to get. They rarely really discount these ships, so I was like, okay, I'm actually quite happy because, oh, let's be clear, this is just like the tier 5 Le Grossonnier. Like, this is, the Grasse is just the same ship but premium with a couple of different stats, and I'll be honest, that's one of my favorite tier 5 cruisers. So this per se is one of my favorite tier 5 premium cruisers, I dare to say. It is a really fun ship. Something I do have to point out is look at that camouflage. It is gorgeous. The optical illusion that they use on the hull to kind of make it hard to target the ship with torpedoes, or at least that's what the idea of this was in real life, makes it a ton of fun and something that I just absolutely love looking at. But with all that said, this is one of our reviews. We're going to go back and kind of give the ship a full review because when it came out, we didn't have things like arm review and stuff. So the reviews that are out there aren't really the most up-to-date. This is a more up-to-date De Grasse review. So with all that said, we're going to go ahead and take a look at stats, modules, commanders, all of that good jazz, the stuff that we always do when we are taking a look at review. And if you want to see that, make sure you stay tuned. Anyways, with all of that said, let's dive on in and first talk about the commander. And I have to say, De Grasse is a eminently versatile ship. You can run it with either of the two cruiser commanders and have very, very good results. Personally, in the game that I'm going to show coming up, I was running Rue, and he has a full kind of agile build, kind of the get the rudder shift time down to as low as possible. So we have Baltimore and Clara Teslau as our two inspirations. His base trait is going to increase the HE shell damage from the vessel. And then we're running Ingenious, Full Speed Ahead, Sponge, and Steer Clear. This makes it so that you can kind of stay out at the max ranges and just dance around shells, which is absolutely a ton of fun. And it's how I kind of like playing some of the French cruisers. The other option, the one that is just equally as effective and one that is also a ton of fun, is Le Vanonier. And this is all about starting fires. This is all about doing that damage over time. Basically, we're going to be running Kuznetsov and Scott. His base trait reduces detectability after firing. How long? So it reduces that 20 seconds that would usually be there down to a certain amount. I think mine is now at like around 14-ish seconds, if I recall. I'm not very good at math. Anyways, then we're running Burning Down XXL, Igniter, Punch Through, Fixated, and Refill Station. And both ways of running this ship are completely great ways and provide excellent results when using the ship. So I recommend trying it out both ways, see which way works best for you, but both are really, really fun and great ways to go ahead and run it. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at the modules we're running. There's only two modules. The first one is going to be Aiming System Mod 1, and in the second one, I'm running Steering Gears to kind of help with that rudder shift time to make it just as quick as possible. Next, we have the consumables, and oh boy, do you have a full set here, which is what I really like to see on ships because it just increases that utility. So first off, we have the regular damage control party, 5-second duration with a reload time of 60 seconds. Next, you have the option between sonar and defensive AA. I am running sonar because, well, it doesn't have a great AA suite. It's one of its downsides. So doubling your AA suite, while it is nice, I would definitely recommend just sticking with the sonar. Detection on those torpedoes, 2.8 kilometers. Detection on ships, 4 kilometers. It's going to last 92 seconds. It's going to reload in 180 seconds, and you get 3 charges. Next, you have the wonderful special French speed boost. It boosts your speed by 15%. It's going to last 180 seconds. It's going to reload in 120 seconds, and you get 3 charges. And finally, you have 4 catapult fighters on at your disposal It's going to last 100 seconds, reload in 80 seconds, and it's going to have 4 charges. So thanks to Fully Packed for providing so much utility for us. So with all that said, let's now go ahead and get into the stats of the vessel. So Grasse has 31,200 hit points with an armor thickness between 6 and 100 millimeters. Let's go ahead and take a look at that armor view, and well, it's definitely a tier 5 cruiser. 16 millimeter bow and deck armor with a little bit of thickness down at the torpedo belt. You get 100 millimeters there, but beyond that, it's very much a sort of a thin ship. But luckily, you have a pretty low down citadel, but you do have one that is quite exposed. If you're ever aiming at one of these ships, you kind of want to aim at the waterline up near where the turrets are. That's going to provide you the best area to attack one of these ships. But if you can manage to stay quick and nimble, you can also do pretty well at standing up to a lot of ships in this. The armor isn't the greatest, but the maneuverability is essentially the armor for this vessel. Torpedo reduction on the ship is going to be 10%, which really isn't that bad for the tier. Main battery, you have 3 3-barreled 152 millimeter guns with a firing range of 14.9 kilometers and a reload time of 8.1 seconds, which is quicker than its sister ship. That gives you a shell sprint of 66 with a 180 time of 12.9 seconds. HE damage is going to be 2,266 for a DPM of 149,556 and a base chance of fire of 12%. If you run Le Monnier, you can get it up to much higher. I think it's up into like the 16th or 17%, which really makes it a great fire starter. AP damage 3,300, giving you a DPM of 217,800. Secondaries, well, you have 3 2-barreled 100 millimeter guns with a firing range of 4.2 kilometers and a reload of 4 seconds. It's going to do 1,400 damage, and it's going to have a 6% chance to set fire. Next, you have the torpedoes, 2 3-barreled 550 millimeter tubes, which is 1 more torpedo than its sister ship, in a reload time of 90 seconds. Damage on them, 14,833 with a detectability range of 1.3. Torpedo speed is going to be 60 knots with a range of 9 kilometers. And just a fun little fact, La Grasse has 2 two-barrel torpedo tubes, and it has a reload time of 60 seconds. And this one has 2 3-barreled tubes and a reload of 90 seconds. So we can literally do the math, and it appears it takes a French crew 30 seconds to reload 1 tube, which that's a fun, just little mathematical fact right there. AA, well, you have a 5-kilometer range with a minimum damage of 20 damage per second and a max of only 41. She does suffer in this area. To give you an idea, La Grasse 168 is its max damage in its AA suite. Max speed of the vessel 34.5 knots with a turning radius of 690 millimeters and a rudder shift time of 5.6 seconds. Detectability by sea, 11.8 kilometers, by air, 7.4, and when firing in smoke, it's down to 6. So those are the stats of the vessel. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a game in the ship. Okay, so Grasse, here we are on Neighbors. Much like the B-roll footage beforehand, we've been getting a lot of Neighbors, and well, Grasse works well on Neighbors, so no complaints there. We are over on the Charlie spawn, which is the one I do prefer just because there is all of those islands for cover that you can use, which is a lot more fun when you're in a cruiser and in a destroyer, just because it gives you options on how to approach a situation, unlike A, where it's just the 3 pillars of A. Not my favorite. But anyways, we're over here on C. We just want to get wide. We want to see who's around and what they are up to. As far as the quality of ship, Grasse, I absolutely love this ship. I wholeheartedly, if you are in the market, if you like La Grasse, if you like that ship, this is just that ship, but a little bit different. You know, 1 extra torpedo tube, a little bit less damage here and there, a little bit less AA, but you get the premium bonus. So if you're in the market, I would say it's absolutely a great ship to pick up. Not one that you need because it doesn't really define a different playstyle. Anyway, Dallas pops up. He is broadside. We have our AP loaded. So we are going to greet him with an opening salvo and begin to turn out, because as soon as we turn, or as soon as we're spotted, we have 3 different ships targeting us. Thanks to Ingenious, we know that. So we're going to kind of just angle out, try to make it a little bit more difficult of a target to hit. We get a second salvo off on the Dallas, getting another Citadel. We've kind of dialed in his Citadel, and he seems to be wanting just to sail in a straight line. Of course, as I say that, he does turn in and stop those shells, but we do have our sister ship, La Grasse, also sailing somewhat broadside, so we're going to launch a couple of AP salvos his way as we start to take cover behind this island. Once we're behind this island, we kind of take a moment. We're like, okay, we can reset. We can have a minute before we start engaging again. Let's go ahead, get the repair party off, get that fire stopped, get ready to re-engage. We'll be able to engage from stealth, so hopefully we can get a couple of shots off. La Grasse, still somewhat broadside. Line up the shot. Let's see how this one goes. We pop out, and let's see. Airtime kind of long on some of these shells, and they just go pretty much all over, which is unfortunate, which is kind of why I've also started to enjoy running Scott on this ship, because sometimes the shell grouping just hurts you, though I feel like that's more of a general dispersion one right there. Anyways, La Grasse does take a Citadel from us, but in exchange we do lose our rudder, and it actually jams our rudder. And because we used that damage control party, we now kind of have to deal with the consequences. Now, this could be very bad because we're exposing our broadside, but thankfully the enemy ship is also kind of doing a turn where he's reversing, so only really one gun does he have on target. We're waiting until we can hit the repair party. We finally do. We get our steering gear back. We can't go in front of the island anymore. We kind of have to complete this crazy Ivan circle maneuver out here just because we've committed to the turn so much and we want to keep the momentum up. Of course, we do have a wonderful, long-lasting French speed boost going, and that does absolutely help us. But hey, we're nearly a third of the way into the match and haven't sunk anything. We've done a little bit of damage to the cruisers, but now it's starting to get serious. We can see we're being targeted by 2 ships. One of them probably this T-61, just scoping us out as far as torpedoes go. He's sitting somewhat broadside. We're gonna greet him with a salvo. Sadly, he turns out, so that we just barely miss him. We'll launch another one his way. Start kind of concentrating on him. Also, after all, he's a destroyer. He's popped up. He's also our closest target. We might as well try to, 1, prevent them from capturing C. We don't want them to start accruing points unnecessarily. And 2, if we can weaken their destroyer force, that is just as good for us. But we pop up behind, or we go back behind the island, we drop spot, and now we're going to try to use that island to get a little bit closer to that enemy destroyer to maybe take him out, and also kind of maybe hide behind that island, take C, get us some points. Of course, our team has done fairly well. We've taken A. Enemy team has taken B, but it looks like they've taken a couple of losses, and we're only 1 ship up currently, so it's going to come down to being a close match, or at least so far, that's what it feels like. La Grasse still popping pop shots here and there. We take our opportunity to shoot at him. We can still see that T-61 is clearly still in the sea cap because, well, it's still being captured by them. He's no longer spotted. Our engine boost is about to go. We go ahead and pop up our plane just in the hopes of being able to spot, maybe keep an eye on La Grasse, though with the current nerf to the airplane spotter planes is a little bit hard. And then Nuremberg pops up, and, well, 1, we were already pushing into an area with the destroyer, and 2, we now have a enemy cruiser that also has fairly good torp angle, so we're going to use that sonar, and we're just going to slow right on down. We want him to keep sailing in the way he is, because if he does, he's going to be nice and broadside for us. He does that for us right here. We go ahead and pop him for a huge amount of damage. We see incoming torps. We need to start angling on these torps. We see we have 1 set of torps coming in and a crisscross. This was nearly really bad. Thankfully, we're able to thread the needle right there. First set of torps, the second set of torps. Unfortunately, Nuremberg is angled out in a way that AP no longer working. So we're going to try to get our rear turret ready in case we need to fire off. But front guns end up taking out Nuremberg, and then T-61 is going to follow suit shortly. And there he is, the double strike. Always nice to get one of those. And now we see Fuso popping up. We also are just trying to turn in, keeping the circle, but it looks like we're going to potato our way out of the cap circle. But bright side, we do end up picking up the Dallas here, swing our guns around, load the AP, And he has still decided that broadside is the best way to be in that Dallas. So let's see how that works out for him. Yep, 2 citadels, and he is now off the map. That brings us to 3 kills, 2 enemy ships remaining. Le Garçonnier still firing the pepper shots. Good for him for sticking it out and really playing the long-range cruiser game. You know, we've been constantly trading shells here and there, and we both have similar amounts of hit points remaining. So good on him. We're gonna try to get behind this island. Of course, right now they control two of these capture points. We don't want to give them the ability to accrue more points, and especially have a positive points delta over us. We want 2 of the capture points. So we're gonna go ahead, take this opportunity to disengage, let the consumables kind of recharge. We just got our fighter plane back. Let the sonar kind of catch up, give it a couple of seconds, and pop on behind this island. Let things cool down. We're not at any risk of the other ship gaining health because it's a Le Garçonnier. Neither of us have heals. So all we're doing here is just giving ourselves the advantage to relax and reload. We can see he's starting to get behind that island there. We end up getting spotted, so we let loose our salvo of HE, continues behind that island. So we hatch ourselves a plan because it looks like he does not want to stop, and he's going to continue to push. And if he does, he will be lined up nicely for a broadside from us. So we flip on over to AP, noticing that also that Fuso right now kind of out of range from us. So we are very much safe in being in this open water. Le Garçonnier takes a fairly heavy hit from an enemy cruiser, and we will go ahead and finish him off right there. There we go. That gets us 4 kills. And, well, when you're at 4 kills and there's 1 enemy left, you know what it's time. It's time to go Kraken hunting. Of course, we do have an enemy Fuso here, and is going to be somewhat of a tough cookie to crack. We do only have 3 cruisers, so it's going to take some strategery on our part. My plan, burn it down. Burn it, burn it, burn it down, and that is exactly what we're going to do. We want to get in range of this Fuso. He looks like he's going to stay on that side of the islands over there, and that's just what we want. It kind of locks him into our range so that when he starts experiencing fire from us, he can't get out of our range. So we fire off our first set of HE, and then we are just going to pop behind this island and have a nice chill time behind this island. Now, I will be honest, Fuso armor, fairly resilient against the HE, so it all comes down to really burning him down. Of course, we aren't running the full fire sword build, but we do get a decent number of fires on him. I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward because this next bit takes a good chunk of time. But before I do that, I will just say, guys, Grasse, I really enjoyed this ship. I really enjoyed playing it. I look forward to playing it more often. If you are a collector, it's a fantastic ship. I don't know if you need to run out and buy it just because what it offers is so similar to its tech tree counterpart. It's not really necessary. For me, it's a ship with a cool camo that I will run over the tech tree ship, but that's the main reason to do so. Anyways, guys, if you like the video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.